This is Johanna Chesbu, your Director of Vendor Management. And today we have Tyler Graybeal with Southern Outdoor Restoration. And he is here to talk to you about the frequency of utilizing a pressure washing cleaning service. Tyler, how's it going today?
Hey, Joanna, I'm excellent. Happy Friday. We made
Happy
it.
Friday. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having us. And again, I'm Tyler Graybeal. I'm the founder and CEO of Southern Outdoor Restoration, which is a really misleading company name. We're not a restoration company. It's just a fancy name for a pressure washing and gutter cleaning business. But to give you guys a little bit of context, I started this company in 2012. With an HOA focus. We now service over 1,000 communities throughout the Carolinas. And but when I was talking to Johanna about getting ready for this expert series, I thought about what was the number one question that community managers ask me in the context of the services that we provide. And it's always, hey, Tyler, how often should we do this? How often should we do pressure washing? How often should we do gutter cleaning in our community? And the answer is always, it depends, which is like not a great answer to give, but it's a truthful one. And so I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you all about what it depends on, so that you can speak intelligently about those services and the frequency of them when you inevitably get that question asked in the context of the community management for your portfolio. So with that, I've got a few slides that I've put together, and we'll jump straight into it. How's that sound, Joanna?
That sounds great. And you know what? It's funny because in the world of community management, that concept of it depends is not foreign. There's a lot of things that rely on many variables, and there's really no one size fits all answer for certain things. So we're used to it, but we'd love to hear a little bit about why it depends for certain things when it comes to cleaning and maintenance of our buildings.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to preface this, we're going to circulate this slide deck for everybody. So no need to take notes here. Everything that we'll cover today will be delivered via email here shortly. As we discussed, there's a handful of exterior cleaning services that we provide as a company. And so I feel very competent speaking to the frequency and cadence and scope of these services. Uh, the building pressure washing, concrete cleaning, gutter cleaning, underground pipe jetting, and certainly some of the inorganic stain treatments. And I just want to share that there is a recurring nature to every single one of these services. And the goal that we have for a community is to develop a customized service rotation that matches exactly what that community needs, so that the assets are maintained properly and that you don't spend $1 more than you have to keep them in excellent condition and avoid costly repairs in the future. So the whole it depends on, there's a long list of factors that go into how we advise communities on the cadence and the frequency of services. It could be the building materials. It could be what the building is made out of and what's coated. It could be the type of trees and the proximity of trees and the age of the trees and the maturity of it. It could be the age of the community. It could be that a lot of
Even
things depend on the budget. And then honestly, like this whole tolerance factor is a big deal. Like how much grime and debris is a community willing to have on their buildings or on their sidewalks or in their gutters before they say enough is enough, or if they have bigger fish to fry. And so we're here to walk through a bunch of these different things for these services. So with community pressure washing, there is a number of these different factors, and we've put together a few examples of how long in between services it can go where you have organic growth built up. So the photo on the left is organic growth after 1 year on vinyl siding. The
wow, so
photo
it's
in the
already
middle,
accumulated.
totally, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, especially on those north facing facades where you get the least amount of sun.
I was gonna
In the
say
middle,
the direction of the sun and the exposure to the sun, I imagine makes a big difference. And
it totally does. And what's not on here is organic growth grows on the north side of the building because it gets the least amount of sun, but you get the most amount of UV oxidation on the south side of the building because it gets the most amount of sun. So
oh wow,
sometimes we'll see chalkiness on the siding, especially like richer colors, like darker greens, darker blues, darker reds, and that oxidation will most frequently show up on the south side of a building. So maybe more than you wanted to know about power washing on a Friday, but it's
it's
and
important. It all adds to the wear and tear that you need to maintain for your exterior.
it totally does. And here on the right, we see an extreme case of somebody that has waited way too long, and you get that organic growth built up. And the interesting thing to consider is that organic growth grows exponentially. And so it actually grows a lot over the winter time. And so if you go into the wintertime with buildings that have a lot of organic growth on them, you're going to have even more growth coming out of the winter. And the reason for that is you have the shortest days in the wintertime. So they get the least amount of sun consistently for
Yeah,
months on end. So again, little fun fact
that makes
about power
sense.
on a Friday. Yeah.
So that
So
3+ year picture that you have, is that beyond saving? I mean, is that something that your team can tackle and
oh
bring it
yeah, no,
looking new
yeah,
again?
yeah, thousand
That's
percent. So
amazing.
yeah, I mean, it would look like brand new siding when we're done with it.
That
Just
looks pretty
takes
rough right there.
it just takes a little bit of chemical, a little bit of
Yep.
patience. Um, All right, so the cadence options for building pressure washing, there's a lot of communities that get it done annually. There's some folks that get it done every other year, and there's some folks that get it done just twice between paint cycles.
Wow.
The business case for twice between paint cycles is that regular pressure washing on buildings extends the life of the paint. And so you might get 8 to 9 years out of a paint cycle if you wash it regularly versus 6 to 7 years if you don't keep up with it. Painting is super expensive, and so there's a strong economic case for regular exterior cleaning of painted surfaces in townhome and condo communities.
So that's really interesting to me because I would have imagined that more frequent exterior cleaning would cause wear and tear on, but I guess I would imagine, and it depends on the type of paint that is used, the thickness, how many coats were done. So again, going back to the variables that,
Yeah, and also this is all under the assumption that people who are pressure washing are doing it to industry standards. So if we are
good point.
keeping up with vinyl or painted surfaces, we're doing a soft washing process, which effectively uses a mildewcide detergent and water volume to clean, not water pressure. So the
Yep.
pressure washers are really at that
Okay.
point are just a means of applying the cleaning solution and rinsing it off really efficiently.
And the benefit of utilizing a professional cleaning service that
That's
knows the
correct.
difference. Yep.
Yeah, I was just assuming that, but maybe I should have mentioned that. Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
All right, so we put together a fun, what I call a magazine quiz. This is your expert series, not cosmopolitan, but you get the gist of it. So you can go in and again, you guys can play with this on your own time, but plug in the number associated with the type of siding, the type of tree cover, where the community is with budget, and the kind of soft issues of that community as it relates to tolerance. Are they really prideful with the appearance of the community, or do they have, $100,000 BMP rebuild project that's going to take priority every year? So plug that in, and the answer will give you what we think is the appropriate cadence of building pressure washing. And we've done this for a handful of the other services, so I won't walk through it, each time this way.
Yeah.
Um, so that's buildings.
Wow.
Concrete, flat work should also be cleaned every 1 to 4 years. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. But one important consideration beyond aesthetics is actually safety. So mildew can be slippery when wet, organic growth, And we've had some slip fall accidents that we have had to clean the sidewalks behind in a community where they
Oh my
let
goodness.
some mildew go for too long. And so getting out in front of that, increasing the slip fall ratio, excuse me, the coefficient on concrete, there's certainly a business case for folks to be doing that.
Absolutely. Reducing liability is so important.
And it looks good.
It does.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good before and after. That's a nice picture you got there.
I'm biased. I agree with you. Yeah, the before and after is interesting. The top piece of concrete is actually an old piece of concrete, and then they poured a new pad. And so you can see how the older concrete is darker
Yeah.
because it's more porous. And so it actually holds water more
And the
when it
grime.
rains. And so
Yep.
it builds organic growth quicker. The newer concrete, a little bit smoother, and it gets dirty a little bit slower. So if you have older concrete, you might have to wash it more frequently. If you have newer concrete, you can get away with, every 2, 3, or 4 years.
And super slick
Yes.
otherwise, for sure.
All right, gutter cleaning. So again, I'm not going to read every single bullet point on here, but what we like to do is develop customized gutter cleaning rotations specific to the community. Do they have how much square feet of roof is that gutter system being asked to process from a water perspective? Where is the water going? How close is that community to trees? What type of trees? Is it evergreens and pine needles that are going to be falling heavily in May? Or is it deciduous trees like maples and oaks that aren't going to fall until December? When you ask us to take a look at a community, we'll take inventory of all of these things and deliver a recommendation based on a bunch of these factors. So these are the types of debris that we find in gutters. The pine needles on the left, as I mentioned, deciduously fall there in the middle. And then, of course, all of the random things like and dead squirrels and
Oh
drones,
gosh.
everything in between.
Golf
Uh,
balls,
yeah.
kids'
One time,
toys.
yeah, just like maybe a dozen beer cans that had been like tossed out of the dormer window. Uh,
God.
yeah. I guess I was maybe not that smart when I was a teenager either. Okay, so this is actually a big factor that drives the frequency of gutter cleaning is the junction between the downspout and the gutter itself. So sometimes gutter installers will cut corners a little bit and not use a sleeve insert to make that junction, and that those areas will clog up really quickly. Sometimes they'll also put screws through it as opposed to riveting it, and those screws will stick, sometimes halfway through because the handyman just had like a drywall screw in their pocket, and that
Yeah.
clogs gutters really quickly.
Oh man.
All right.
What
Uh,
about
Sorry.
gutters? We do have some associations that have gutter guards.
Hmm.
Hopefully that prolongs the need to clean, but do you have the ability to clean when there's gutter guards in place, and how to best protect them so it's not getting messed up when we are pulling out debris? Because it still gets through, even
That's
on the
right.
best of gutter guards.
So I have a love-hate relationship with gutter guards.
I
We
figured as
clean
much.
we clean under the assumption that they were installed properly and functioning as designed. And so when a community has gutter guards, they still need what we would call quote unquote gutter cleaning, which is blowing off the debris from the roof. Because what you don't want is to not do gutter cleaning, but have like a snowdrift of pine straw in one of the valleys of that roof. That
Oof.
snowdrift or pine straw will turn into compost. It will generate a bunch of moisture and it'll rot out that roof really quickly. So you still got to get up there and like blow the roof off and blow the top of the guards off.
Okay,
And then
that makes sense. Yeah.
there's a bunch of different styles of guards. But again, in the context of our regular maintenance gutter cleaning, we're just going to blow off the tops of the guards and work under the assumption that they were installed properly and functioning as intended.
Good information. Thank you.
One thing to consider, again, this may be more you wanted to know about gutter guards, is gutter guards actually reduce the volume of water that a roof can process in a heavy rain event. especially helmet style guards where the water is expected to like go over the helmet
Over
and
the,
follow the contour down. You've taken, a 5-inch wide gutter and asked all the water to go into a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch hole. And so those gutter systems are just not going to be able to effectively collect and process an extremely heavy rain event. You'll find that that water just kind of sheets off the end
wow,
of the guard in those scenarios.
that's interesting. Another factor I never really considered when it came to that. And being on the coast, we've got a lot of coastal properties that those hurricane winds and everything that comes with that can fully affect the effectiveness of those.
Of those guards. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We have found that it often makes more long-term economic sense for the community to just get slightly more frequent gutter cleaning than to pay to have guards installed and then invariably have to do a whole overhaul 7
Sure.
years in when, you have a trough of compost that's kind of trapped under the guards.
Yep.
This is just an example.
Definitely.
This chart is just an example of all the different cadence options. Sometimes we clean a community, the full community once a year. Sometimes we do a full community cleaning and then a tree line or partial community cleaning. That's what managers really like us for because we will create those customized rotations where it's like, okay, in February, it's a full cleaning. In July, it's a tree line unit cleaning. And in November, it's a full cleaning again. And we plug that into our system and it's just on autopilot.
That's fantastic. Takes the
Uh,
guesswork out of it.
Here's another quiz from People Magazine. Plug in what is true for your community, and the number kicks out how often we think that you should start with a gutter cleaning rotation. Everything ranging from once a year to there's a handful of communities that literally are in the jungle that we clean 6 times a year. Okay, landing the plane here, underground pipe flushing and jetting. This is something that is often ignored because underground pipes are not included in the regular scope of a maintenance gutter cleaning job, but invariably debris gets down there. And the goal of a gutter system is to collect and reroute rainwater away from the foundation of buildings. And so if the whole system isn't set up to do that, then you've got a failure. And so we recommend disconnecting those underground pipes from the metal downspouts and putting a jetting attachment into each one of those pipes and just logging to make sure that everything is flowing cleanly. And so we treat it partially as like jetting and cleaning work and partially as just proactive diagnostic work. But so often people do an excellent job of keeping their gutters and metal downspouts clear and completely ignore what lies beneath. And then finally, these are 3 services that do not have a recurring nature to them. So on the left, you see rust removal. This one is actually sourced from a condensate line coming from the 2nd story, dripping down and depositing the rust water onto the siding. Super easy to clean with the right buffered acid. You can see that before and after picture there. Efflorescence, so both efflorescence and calcium and lime deposits that leach out of masonry due to water migration. Those can be cleaned with specific cleaning chemicals, but they just need to be done ad hoc as needed. And then vinyl restoration to bring it all full circle, Johanna. When you get those buildings that are just baking in the sun on the south side of a community, they're going to get a little bit lighter and a little bit chalky. And there's some cleaning processes to apply to that to reverse the process of oxidation. It's kind of like Armor All for your siding.
Okay.
And we do that. So if you need us, call us.
That was going to be my very last question is how do we get in touch with you?
Yes, we are in the Trusted Service Provider Network. So shameless plug for all of the work that Johanna has done to build that vendor network and directory. Don't copy it down here. Go into the system in Vantica. Look up pressure washing in your market. We are in every single market that CAMS serves throughout North and South Carolina. My cell phone number is in there. My personal email is in there, and we will put you in touch with our sales and account management team to get you the exact customized service rotation that all of your communities need.
That's wonderful. And as a reminder, if you are a board member, be sure to ask your community manager about Southern Outdoor Restoration.
Yes, just a fancy name for a pressure washing and gutter cleaning business.
Yep. Yeah, you had me. I remember when we first connected. Restoration. Okay, you do some mitigation, fire water. Nope,
No.
no, we're more on the exterior maintenance and cleaning,
Yes, one of my
which is
biggest
just
regrets.
as important.
I was 23 years old when I started this business, and I always thought like power washing, restoring outdoor surfaces, Southern Outdoor Restoration.
I like it. It
Yeah.
works.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. Have a wonderful weekend, Johanna. And to everybody out there, have a great St. Patty's Day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Bye.